Hello and welcome, my name is Olive and this session is going to be a 25-minute whole body evening sequence, so quite a nice thing to do as you come in from work or before bed or whatever. We've got some gentle movement and we're going to finish with some breath work, so get yourself as comfortable as possible in like super comfy clothes, socks, whatever. Maybe have some pillows to hand or maybe yoga blocks if you have them as well. But those are all the equipment we're going to need as well as our mat. So yeah, I will see you lying down to start with. So we're going to start practice lying on our back and we're going to come into some simple movement for the knee, for the hips. So we're going to start by bringing that right knee nice and close into our chest, holding it with both or one hand, and just start to create some small circular movements. So coming down into the hip joint, going one direction to start with, and then change direction. Cool. And then slowly bring it back to stillness, release it down to the ground, and from here you're going to hug in that left knee. So again, just start to create some small circles one way. You can obviously allow the circles to get bigger, whatever works. Changing direction from here. Beautiful, one more circle to go. And then planting both feet down on the ground. So whilst we're here, just go for a full body stretch, reaching the arms above the head, pointing out through the toes. And then when you're ready, draw those knees into the body. What we're going to do from here, take an inhale, draw the knees a little bit closer using the hands. And then on the exhale, take the knees away from the chest, so bring them above the hips. Again, inhale, draw them in. Exhale, take them away. Just going to do it one more time. Inhale, coming in. Exhaling away. Beautiful. Come back to drawing the knees into the chest, and then from here both knees go down to the right hand side. Lightly hold the knees with the right hand, extend the left hand away from you. So just get sort of acclimatized to this spinal twist. Obviously use a pillow, use a block under the knees if you need, and gently take the head to look over towards the left hand. So if you wanted to increase that sort of stretch sensation towards your pec, so your left pec muscle, just try to push that left hand through the ground. Now you're welcome to stay here, or you can come into some more sort of shoulder mobilization, thoracic mobilization if you would like. To do that, what you do, you keep the left hand in contact with the ground. You start to slowly slide it up and above your head, rotating through the shoulder, rotating through the thoracic spine. The palm turns towards the ground. And then you bring that elbow sort of nice and close into the body. And now you're looking the other way. And then just to reverse, you bring it up. You allow that hand to rotate. You bring it back to the starting position. And it's just quite a nice movement to do. Nice and slow, working with your breathing. Like I said, to just bring a little bit more movement into that thoracic region of the spine, into your shoulder. Cool, we're going to do it one more time, and then we will switch and move on to the other side. Of course, you find your own rhythm, your own variation of this pose. If something doesn't feel right, make it your own. Lovely, so when you come all the way back, draw both knees back through to center, take them down to the left side, left hand to hold, extend out the right hand. So again, let's just first get used to this pose. Do we need to make any adjustments? How does this side feel? Are we still breathing easy? And then if you would like, right hand comes up, palm comes down, you rotate. Again, we'll go for about 3 of these in total. Remember to move your head as well. Just lightly adding pressure with the left hand on the knees. We'll go one more time. And slowly coming back to our start, bring both knees back to your chest. Now you can either roll over to one side and bring yourself up to seated, or if you would like, you can gently start to rock up and down 2 or 3 times. I'm going to go for 3 today because that seems to be the magic number. And then from there, bring yourself into a kneeling position. Obviously, if you would like to put a pillow or a block underneath your bum, you are more than welcome to, but we're just going to move into our neck. So resting hands on your knees, just roll the shoulders back and down a couple times, get them feeling nice and loose, and roll them forwards, and then let them relax. So with the neck looking forwards, to start with, all we're going to do is turn left, through center, then to right. Just nice and slow a couple times. Checking that as we do this, we are keeping our breath regulated. We don't want to feel restriction of the breath into our neck. We have our scalene, our breathing muscles there. We want to keep them relaxed. Cool. And then as you come back through center, chin down to the chest, looking all the way upwards. Nice and slow. Try not to force the neck into a position it really doesn't want to go into. We want stability into this part of our spine. Lovely. And then as you come back through center, take right ear towards right shoulder. They shouldn't touch. Through center, left ear, left shoulder. So yeah, we want to keep them sort of not touching, because if they do touch, it means that the shoulders moved up and we're just trying to work into the neck region. So one more time. Cool. And then next time as you come back through center, just find anything else. So maybe you find yourself moving through more circular movements. It could be semicircles, full circles. Maybe you add some pressure to the head as you go forwards, or maybe even gently to the side. Again, whatever seems to work for you. If it's been a long day, the neck's aching, like I said, just be gentle, just be kind to it. Cool. And then coming all the way back to a little bit of stillness. From here, we're going to stay seated and we're going to reach forwards with the hands and almost collapse our rib cage down towards our hips. So we're coming into some really nice flexion for the spine, chin to the chest, breathing here. And then on the inhale, as you start to lift the chest, you come up into neutral. You're going to open up the hands, bringing them into a cactus position, gently looking up. And then again, just diving forwards, rib cage towards the hips into flexion. Inhale. Lifting, coming up, allowing that chest to expand, maybe opening up through the head, depending how supported it feels. And you can keep going like this a couple of times. Now, you're obviously welcome to stay kneeling, or you can do this like a little bit more elevated, where the bum comes off the heels. Whatever works for you. Let's just go one more time each direction. And then coming back to your kneeling stance, sitting down on your bum. So we're going to come forwards into a lunge position. You're going to step the right leg in front of you, bringing yourself into a nice lunge where you're pretty sturdy in the front leg, knee is facing forwards, trying to grip down into the toes. The glutes are switched on, so we have some protection for the hip joints. And of course, please feel free to put a pillow underneath your back knee. So from here, we're going to take the right hand onto our right thigh. Inhale, draw the left hand above your head. Exhale, you're going to start to bring that left hand sort of towards the back of the right side of your head and slowly start to lean towards the right side. Now, as you do this, if you want to bend more into the front leg, please feel free. If you want to maybe twist into the spine, maybe lift and change the head, there is support there, so feel and see whatever feels good. The main thing that I ask is that as you lean towards the side, you don't pop your hips off, you keep your hips level. So as you lean, you want to have the lower body stable, mobility through the thoracic section. So I'm going to be here for one more breath. And then slowly release both hands up above your head. Take a little bit more of a bend into the front leg. Exhale, we're going to push those hips back. Take hands down either side, coming into our half splits. Adjust the back leg if you want. You should have your bum off your heels. Now again, please feel free to take a block underneath the hands, whatever it is, but we're just going to start to point and flex into the front toe, working into our fascia. Because this is quite a tight pose for a lot of people. Hamstrings are usually quite tight, and that's mainly because, or the majority of the time at least, hamstrings are weak. So they need strengthening in order to feel a little bit looser. If you're here and you want to find a bit more movement into the spine, you can do some sort of cat-cow movements, spinal extension, spinal flexion, even gently twisting side to side. Cool. And then gently returning forwards into our low lunge. Just extend out of the hands. Then hands land, we'll swap those legs over. So left foot steps forwards first of all. Establish that nice sort of foundation in the legs. Left hand on the thigh. Inhale, reach your right hand up. Then take that hand to hold the back of the left side of the head, slowly bending towards the left hand side. Now again, adjust as you need. I'm going to take a little bit more of a bend into my front leg, so I feel it more into my right hip flexor. Maybe I look up a little bit. As long as I'm breathing, that's the main thing. We're going to take one more breath here. And then slowly releasing both hands up above the head. And then push those hips behind, flex into the front leg, hands land, coming back to our half splits. Like I said, and like we did on the previous side, point and flex into the front leg, move into the spine, whatever needs to happen. Use your blocks. And see how this side responds similarly or differently. Cool, so one more breath here. And then slowly bend into the front leg, return up into low lunge. This time as those hands land, stepping that left leg back, we're going to take those toes together, the knees together, or at least hip distance apart, and sink down into our child's pose, reaching those hands out in front of us. Slowly allow the forehead to come down to the mat, place a pillow there if you would like, and just start to slowly rock yourself side to side. If child's pose feels way too tight right now, what you can do instead, put a pillow, put a block underneath your bum, or if that's still a little bit too tight, maybe you just come up onto your elbows, your forearms a little bit more. Cool. So from here, we find a little bit of stillness again into a nice lateral stretch. So a side stretch, you're going to walk your hands off towards the right hand side as much as you want to go and take your left hand on top. Now when I do this, I try to really match my left hand on top and pull into that right hand. So I feel the left side of my body really switch on. Again, chin down to the chest, breathing. Like I said before, if we're up onto the elbows, you can still do the exact same thing, just the bum is higher. Making sure we're keeping our breathing consistent. We'll go for one more breath here. And then slowly soften, walk the hands all the way to the left-hand side. So left hand on the ground, right hand matches on top. Again, try to really pull so you feel that right side switch on. Head relaxes and we breathe. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. One more breath here. And then slowly coming all the way back through to our normal child's pose. Inhale to elevate up into your tabletop position. And when you're here, finding any movements on all fours. So maybe you come through a couple rounds of cat-cows. Maybe you twist and look down towards your heels. Maybe you create more sort of like undulating, if that's even the right word, or like spherical kind of movements. Or you work more into your scapula, your shoulder blades. Whatever it is, just have a little bit of time to wriggle around. Lovely. Cool. So from this tabletop position, coming back to stacking the shoulders over those wrists. We're going to come down onto our belly. Now I don't mind how you get there. Just end up on the belly, and we're going to bring ourselves into Sphinx pose. So Sphinx is where we have those elbows down to the ground, those hands are extended out in front of us, and those shoulders are over the elbows. So we take an inhale, we're already pushing the feet into the ground, we're squeezing the butt, feeling the core switch on, and we're just slowly extending out of the chest, looking up as much as you want to. Breathing here nice and easy. If the lower back's feeling any kind of kink, think about where you need to have more engagement in the body, even into the hamstrings and calves. So what we're going to do here, very similar cat-cow kind of movement. We take an inhale to lift, and then on the exhale, you're going to bring your chin to the chest and start to lift your belly button away from the ground, but keep your hips pushing to the floor. And again, inhale, lowering, opening through the chest. Exhale, chin in, try to lift and engage, lift the belly off the ground. So just going to do it one more time, inhale, lifting, exhale, chin to the chest, lifting away. Beautiful. From here, slowly return to Sphinx, and then landing on the belly, hands by your side, push yourself back through to tabletop, and then down into Child's Pose. So we're going to kind of go through those three movements again, Child's Pose, tabletop to Sphinx, and just take our time with these lovely sort of spinal waves. So Child's Pose, inhale to lift up into tabletop, exhale, land to the belly, inhale, lift up into Sphinx, exhale, belly, back to tabletop, inhale, Child's Pose. And do it 2 more times, inhale, tabletop, exhale, down to your belly, inhale, Sphinx, exhale, belly, to tabletop, inhale, Child's Pose. One more, inhale, up, tabletop, exhale, belly, inhale, Sphinx, elbows down, slowly land, push up, tabletop, exhale, inhale, to Child's Pose. Lovely. When you're ready from here, bring yourself all the way back into your tabletop position and sit back down on the bum, swivel those legs around to the front, bringing yourself into a seated position. So I was trying to make that transition with my mic super smooth, but it obviously didn't happen. Anyway, so from our seated position here, you're going to come into Janu Shasana. You're going to bring your right leg towards the inside of your left thigh. Again, please feel free to put a block or a pillow underneath that right knee. And we're going to actually start by bending that left leg. We're going to catch that foot on the outside, take an inhale as you look forwards. And then on the exhale, just nice and slow, just start to slide this leg away from you. It doesn't matter how far away it goes. If it wants to stay bent and you end up here, that's cool. But when you feel yourself reaching your sort of end point off that position, decide whether or not you want to look forwards or whether it feels better to drop your chin to the chest. Everyone responds slightly differently, so please feel free to explore and see what works better for you, where you can maintain that regular breathing. It's sort of a nice balance between not too challenging, not too easy. I'm going to take one more breath here. And then whenever or wherever we are, slowly release that left leg, let it go straight as you come all the way up. We're going to prep us and bring ourselves into a little twist before our next pose. So you're going to take your right hand behind your bum. That left hand is going to go to the outside of the right knee, and we're just gently encouraging a little bit of a twist. When I say a little bit of a twist, try not to really push into that knee and force yourself, just a little bit of a rotation. So again, we're keeping the breath easy, we're moving from the thoracic spine, head moves, eyes move. Breathing here, nice and slow. One more breath. Beautiful. Now to come to our little counter pose, you're going to press your left heel to the ground, the right knee to the ground, and using your left hand, elevate it up over your head, push and lift the hips, slowly extending. Maybe you look down towards that right hand, but you're pushing through the belly, pushing through the chest. And if you want, give your head a little bit of a shake. Gently, yes and no, up and down. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly with control, come all the way back down to your bum. Release those legs in front of you, roll through the wrists, roll through the ankles. And then from here, we're going to come into a straddle position. So the legs take about a 90-degree stance. Obviously, go wider if you would like, go narrow if you would like. There's no right, there's no wrong way how to do it. Cool, but from here try to peel the toes back towards you. Again, sit on a pillow if you would like, but we're going to take the right hand down towards that shin. Inhale, draw the left hand up as you slowly pivot to face the left foot and gently start to lean into the right leg as much as you would like. Now, think about pressing that left heel into the ground, keeping the breath active. You go as deep, you go as shallow as you want into the pose. It can be quite intense for the hamstrings if they are already tight, because we've got ones that run up the inside of the thigh. So see where you're happy. We'll take one more breath here. And then as you slowly come up, swap sides over. So left hand down, inhale, draw the right hand up, pivot to face the right leg, leaning as much as you're comfortable with. Again, if you're doing this before bed, best not to really force yourself into a pose, just take it easy. One more breath here. And inhale, slowly coming all the way back up. Lovely, so we'll come on to the other side. So bring those legs together and then taking that left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Again, pillow or block underneath. Bending into the right leg, taking hold of the outside of the foot. Take an inhale here. And then on the exhale, slowly start to slide that leg away. Again, find that point where it feels good, that nice balance between not too difficult, not too strenuous, but also not too easy. And then decide, do I want to stay looking forwards or do I want to drop my chin to my chest? And the way we figure that out is by obviously being there and breathing. But the difference is when I'm looking forwards, my spine is into more of an extended pose. When I'm looking down to my knee, my spine is more in a flexed position. So it just depends on your anatomy, your posture, what feels better. We'll take one more breath here. And then as you release that leg straight, coming all the way up into our little twisting prep pose, taking your left hand behind you, that right hand is going to gently hold the outside of the left knee, and we're just going to gently start to rotate towards the left hand side. So again, in our rotations, we think about moving from the thoracic spine first, then the head, and then the eyes move. Breathing here, making sure we're not just holding on to the breath. Lovely. And then from here, as you release that right hand away, press the knee, the heel to the ground, push through the left hand, elevate the hips, right hand goes up and above the head. Figure out what feels good, shake the head, but try to really push through the base hand, engage your glutes, pushing in through the core. One more breath. And then slowly, slowly coming all the way back down, releasing those legs in front. Again, roll through the wrists, shake out off the legs. And then this time we're going to come into Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose. So you're going to take your feet not close to the body, that's more butterfly. We're actually going to come to sleeping turtle, so apt. So you're going to have sort of a little square shape in between your legs. Of course, put pillows on the outsides of the knees if you would like. But from here, what we start to do, we thread the hands underneath the legs so that the knees and the legs have sort of something to rest on, our forearms. We hold the feet and gently, gently start to drop the chin down to our chest. Again, making sure we're breathing nice and strong. If this feels like it's too much, you can just hold the tops of the feet and slowly come down. You don't have to bring and force yourself into the first option. But like I said, see what feels good. I'm going to be here for one more breath. Make sure those glutes are switched on whenever we're in this position with the legs, just so we protect the hips. And then gently, gently detangle yourself. Use the hands, lift up the knees, extend them away from you. And from here, we're going to lie down on our back again. So coming down onto your back, planting the feet on the floor, And we're just going to shake a little bit before we start to bring ourselves into our final few poses. So if you just extend your hands directly above your head and extend the feet as well, and then just start to shake them out. The reason why shaking feels so good and why a lot of animals do it and a lot of athletes do it before the start of a race or the start of a game is because it encourages the nervous system to calm down as well. Also, because we're doing this slightly inverted and working with gravity, our lymph systems have a chance to sort of like regulate again. Cool. So slow that movement down, hug both knees into your chest, and then planting both feet back down to the ground, you're going to cross your left ankle above that right knee. Lift the right leg off the floor, holding the right thigh and maybe bringing it in as close as you want it to go. So lying figure 4, you can gently start to rock side to side. I like to do that just momentarily. And then back to a little bit of stillness. What we're going to do with the right leg, extend it as straight as you want it to go. Point the toes, flex the toes, point the toes, and then drop it back down. So just 2 more times. Extend, point, flex, point, drop it back down. 1 more time. Extend, point, flex, point, slowly down. Swap the legs over, so crossing the right knee, the right foot above the left knee, holding onto the left thigh. Just start by gently rocking side to side if you want. Then back to a little bit of stillness. When you're ready, extend the left leg, point the toes, flex the toes, point the toes, slowly lower back down. 2 more times. Point, flex, point. So just working into the fascia of our posterior chain. Last time, extend, point, flex, point, slowly all the way back down. So untangle yourself, hug the knees back to the chest, and then release to happy baby. So feet go up to your ceiling, draw the knees towards the chest, catch hold of the feet, and gently just start to rock yourself side to side if you want. Maybe even bringing the soles of the feet to touch, or straightening up the legs, taking them up and above the head, whatever feels good here. And we're going to finish by doing a couple rounds of breath work. So when you're ready, you're going to plant both your feet on the floor, about hip distance apart. So with your feet planted on the ground, I quite like to have my hands either by my side here, or maybe one on your chest, one on your belly. But allow those eyes to come down to a close. You don't need to worry about looking at the screen. We're just going to start with observing the breath right now. As we start to wind down, coming away from the more physical side of the practice and allowing and inviting in stillness. So we can observe the breath and start to work on it a little bit more. So just notice how on the inhale, air comes in through the nose, it travels down the throat into the lungs, expanding them. And then on the exhale, lungs contract, air comes up, back of the throat, out the nose. And observing and feeling this movement not only in your chest, but in your belly, in your rib cage and into your back. So what we're going to do with our breathing technique is in a moment, we're going to inhale for the count of 3, hold our breath for the count of 3, calmly exhale for the count of 3, and then again hold for the count of 3. So it's quite a beautiful retention technique just to develop more control over our breathing and make sure that we do inhale and exhale with control. We do it in a calm manner, so that if we ever do find ourselves holding on to our breath, we can keep our nervous system regulated and in turn our internal systems regulated. Of course, if 3 is too long or too short, you just adjust it to whatever, but I'm going to guide it for the next few moments or so. And this is all through the nose. So when you're ready, inhale for 1, 2, 3, holding for 1, 2, 3, calm exhale, 1, 2, 3, Holding for 1, 2, 3. Nice slow inhale. 1, 2, 3. Holding 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Holding 1, 2, 3. So just going through the next few moments at your own time. Like I said, please adjust the count as long as you need it to be. Remember to try and inhale nice and calmly, not in a panicked, quick way after the hold. And similarly with the exhale, try to prolong it. Don't just push it all out in the first second. As well as this, observing the movement of the body on the inhale and exhale in comparison to when you're holding. How there's a moment in time where your body's suspended. So you're just going to go for 2 more rounds. You finish on that last hold by just coming back to normal breathing. And this is quite a nice pranayama practice to allow again yourself to step into more of the parasympathetic state of the nervous system, the one responsible for rest and digest, rest and recover, where the internal systems slow down, heart rate slows, blood pressure slows. And you can wind down a little bit. So just return to your normal breath when you're ready. Take your time to invite movement to fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. Go for a full body stretch, hug the knees in, whatever it is. Try keep the eyes closed. And then when you feel comfortable, either roll to the right or the left hand side, cradling your head with the bottom arm. Eventually pushing yourself all the way up to a comfortable seat. Again, try keep those eyes closed. Hands resting in your lap. And take your palms together at your heart center. A moment of gratitude to your body for your practice. Bowing the head. Namaste. Then rub your palms together, build up some heat. Hands over the eyes. And come back when you are ready. So I hope you feel nice and chilled out, ready for the rest of your evening, ready for bed, whatever it is. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions for future videos, let me know, and I will see you next time.